Hi everyone, and welcome to my process video here on YouTube. I want to take a moment to let you know that the process video that you are about to watch is from one of my classes that was formerly available on Big Picture Classes. Any references within the video to class content, written instructions, or downloads will not be available for this particular process video. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. I will try to assist you in any way that I can. In some instances, I will try to provide downloads to you and make them available in my Etsy shop. And if that is the case, you will be able to see that at the end of the video with my Etsy shop logo and a link to where you can purchase that particular download. Thank you so much for your interest in my work. Now let's go ahead and get started with some memory keeping fun. Hi everyone, and welcome to my first spread in the hard story lesson. And I'm going to begin with my photo, which is actually a photo of a photo in a frame on my wall. And so this is the starting or jumping off point for the story that I'm going to tell. I'm going to use a 7 by 8 1/4 piece of cardstock, a same size piece of vellum, and I created a cut file so that I can do some inking with my blending tool. I'm also going to use these really cute heart pockets from Ali Edwards, and I created my cut file so that the heart was pretty similar to the shape of the heart pockets. And then I've picked out several of these different wonky circle chipboard pieces. I haven't decided which ones I'll use yet, but I have several to choose from. My blending tool, and I'm using Distress Oxide. I believe the color of the ink is Gathered Twigs. Okay, so I'm going to temporarily adhere my background page to another piece of paper so that I don't ink on my desk. And then I'm going to very lightly blend in some of this ink into the heart shapes. I don't want them to be dark, so I'm purposely kind of making them a little more mottled, where you'll see some darker spots and some lighter spots. I'm pressing very lightly so that I'm not making them dark, because my story is going to be printed on top of this page. And if I was to press very hard, then I would not be able to see the story. So once I'm done doing that, I will remove the adhesive from the back. It was temporary. And I ran that through my printer. Top says I am still learning, and then I have several paragraphs of journaling. The vellum piece is going to go on top with the heart pockets on top of the vellum. So let's punch those holes and start getting those heart pockets where we want them to be. They are going to be directly on top of the hearts underneath. And then I will turn it around, and I will also go ahead and do some inking on the back side of the vellum, just to kind of make some stamping stand out a little bit better. I went through my stamps and I found some different sentiments that I thought kind of fit well. And to stamp on the vellum, I'm using some Stays On ink. And the first stamp that I do actually turns out a little bit dark because I did press a little bit too hard. But I've gotten past that whole start over again thing, and I'm pretty much okay with imperfection. I'll pick out another stamp here. I think I used ones from the let's see, it was an Ups and Downs collection, and then a Teach story kit. So I used stamps from there, talking about a story where I kind of learned a lesson on an occasion where I was originally going to document my son going off to college, and then having waited for several years, it ended up being a story about my mom. Here are the wonky pieces. I'm kind of going back and forth. What do I want to add? What do I like? Some of the pieces have adhesive on the back already. Some of them don't. I think 2 of the ones that I choose already have the adhesive. So I'll use some score tape to put that bottom piece on, And then the other two actually have the adhesive on already. I flip over to the other side just to make sure everything lines up. And now I'd like to put it's a piece of cloth. These are also from Ali Edwards. I was originally wanting to use the one that you see in the tan color there, but I didn't like the way it looked. I liked the sentiment, but I liked the black better. So I found another sentiment and I put that on there. I also picked out a tiny heart that matches pretty close to that pinkish red heart at the top. And now I'm going to go through my dates. And you'll see I use 3 different stamps here just to kind of see which one I like better. So there's a tiny one, and there's a really big one, and there's a medium one. So you can see them there in a close-up. I end up using the large stamp in the end, but I had several different choices, so wanted to just see how I felt about them. I then go ahead and pull out some more of these tiny chipboard hearts to add a little bit of color to this back side because it seemed very bland. So I have like a little pinkish red one, a blue one, and then I find a nice yellow one. Here is a finished photo of the spread that I just put together. And you can see that the vellum is on top of the journaling. You do see there is journaling behind there. And of course, it is something that is going to prompt the reader to want to turn that vellum page and to read the story. And I hope that when you get to the next photo, that when we get to the next photo here, that you will take a moment to pause the video and to read my story. You can see that the story was told in 2023. The photo was from 2018. So some stories take a little bit time for us to process, and some stories take longer to process. But for me, at least, writing down some of the words and getting them out of my heart is very helpful in the whole processing of hard things that occur to us in life. So thank you again for following along with me. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and we will see you guys in the next video.